So I'm now going to run over Quicksort again, and we're going to see how partition really works. Or almost there, actually. There's going to be one more change to partition after this. That's really not going to affect too much, but I just want to make sure we get this part down first. So, remember the way partition works. Let's go ahead, and I'll just go ahead and rig it so that we've got a good pivot, right? So let's go ahead. So the first thing we need to do is that we've got to choose our pivot. Here's our pivot. We're going to search up the array for from the first item to the last item for an element that is bigger than our pivot. Is this item bigger than our pivot? Yes, it is. So that's going to be our pivot. I'm going to go ahead and use this green dreidel over here to kind of just keep a reminder of where up is, because now we're going to go and we're going to start at this end and look down for the first item that's smaller. Right? Is this item smaller? So it is. So now we're going to swap up and down. Right? Okay. Now I start searching up again for the first item that is bigger. Is that bigger? No. Is that bigger? Yes, it is. And I'm going to start searching down for the first item that's smaller. Is that smaller? Yes, it is. So we swap these two. Now we continue on looking for the first item that is bigger. We look up for the first item that's bigger. Oh, that's a bigger item. And then we continue on looking down for the first item that's smaller. And we go, oh, that's smaller, so that's going to be down. Now up and down have crossed. So that means that we are done pretty much for our partition. The last thing we need to do, right? How do we know? And if we take a look, by the way, at the status, we've got our pivot. We've got all the items that are smaller, all the items that are bigger, right? What we need to do is that we take this and we swap it with over here, and we quicksort the left half and the right half, right? And so I just wanted to do this upper layer of partition, by the way. And this is the reason I wanted to do this is because this is what you'll probably end up having to do on the exam, doing a single level of partition on Quicksort, right? So this is something that we typically test on, okay? So let's go ahead and see what else we can do. Sorry, let's go ahead and just stop right here with this, because this is, the next step would be to quicksort the left half and quicksort the right half. But rather than wasting our time in kind of doing that, I'm going to go ahead and just start again with a new array at kind of the top level for that. And the reason for that is because I feel like this gives us better practice. And also, as you get to those, as they get smaller, it gets less optimal to kind of do those quicksorts. In fact, one of the homeworks I'm fond of giving is optimizing quicksort so that once the array gets down, the subsection gets down to a certain size, you should use a different sorting algorithm to sort that subsection. But let's run through this again. So we want to quicksort this array. We first need to partition it. So we choose our pivot. Then we need to search up for the first item that's bigger. Then we need to search down for the first item that's smaller. So now so we have to swap them and continue. Search up for the first item that's bigger. Search down for the first item that's smaller. Okay, and notice that we've successfully partitioned it at this point into pivot, less than, greater than, but we need to put the pivot in the middle, so we take the pivot and swap it with wherever down is. So now we've got less than pivot, pivot, greater than pivot, right? And then we would quicksort the left half and quicksort the right half. Okay, now let's go ahead and, since this is greater than 3, this is a subsection greater than 3, that means it's actually not like annoying to do a quicksort algorithm on. So we'll go ahead and quicksort the left half, right? So quicksort the left half, choose this pivot. So look for the first item. So we're going to look for the first item that is greater than pivot. Look for the first item that is smaller than pivot. Swap them. Search up for the first item that's greater than the pivot. Search down for the first item that's smaller than pivot. We've swapped. So now we've noticed that we've got our partition. So we swap those two. right? So we've got less than pivot, greater than pivot, right? And since this is of size 2, that's fairly easy to like write a simple base case. Oh, if it's size 2, if the first item is if the first item is greater than the second item, just swap them. So we'll do that. And same over here. First item is greater than the second item, we'll swap that. And the reason I just kind of hand wave like doing quicksort on size 2 on size 3 or less is because the next video, which is about which is kind of making sure that our pivot's a good pivot.